North America was a land of diverse cultures long before European ships arrived. For thousands of years, Native American tribes thrived across the continent. They developed unique languages, traditions, and ways of life. Their story is an essential part of understanding American history. The arrival of Christopher Columbus in 1492 marked a turning point. European powers, eager for new lands and resources, began to explore and claim territory. This period of exploration quickly transformed into colonization. The Spanish, French, and British all established settlements in North America. The arrival of Europeans had a devastating impact on Native Americans. Diseases brought from Europe ravaged indigenous populations. Colonists encroached on native lands, leading to conflict and displacement. The slave trade also began, forcibly bringing Africans to the Americas and forever changing the course of history. The British colonies along the Atlantic coast grew rapidly. They developed economies based on agriculture, fishing, and trade. Yet tensions grew between the colonists and Great Britain. The colonists yearned for greater control over their own affairs. This desire for self-governance would eventually lead to revolution. By the mid-18th century, resentment towards British rule was reaching a boiling point. The colonists protested unfair taxes and restrictions imposed by the British Crown. Protests like the Boston Tea Party demonstrated the colonists' growing defiance. In 1776, the colonists took a bold step. They declared their independence from Great Britain. The Declaration of Independence, penned by Thomas Jefferson, proclaimed that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The American Revolutionary War was a fierce struggle for freedom. Led by George Washington, the Continental Army faced a formidable foe in the British military. Despite the challenges, the colonists were determined to fight for their independence. After years of war, the British surrendered in 1783. The newly formed United States of America had won its independence. The Treaty of Paris formally recognized the United States as a sovereign nation. The young nation faced the daunting task of forming a new government and building a society based on the ideals of liberty and equality. The U.S. Constitution, adopted in 1787, established a new system of government. This document created a balance of power between the federal government and the states. It also included a Bill of Rights to protect individual liberties. The young nation expanded westward, driven by a belief in manifest destiny. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the United States. This expansion, however, came at a cost. Native Americans were pushed further westward, their lands often taken by force. The issue of slavery continued to divide the nation. The southern states relied heavily on enslaved labor for their agricultural economy. Abolitionists in the North condemned slavery as a moral abomination. As the nation expanded, the debate over slavery intensified. In 1861, the tensions over slavery erupted into the Civil War. 11 southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America. The Civil War was a brutal conflict that pitted brother against brother. President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate territory were to be freed. This proclamation was a turning point in the war, making the abolition of slavery a central goal for the Union. The Union victory in 1865 ended slavery in America. The nation faced the difficult task of rebuilding the South and integrating formerly enslaved people into society. Reconstruction efforts aimed to provide education, economic opportunities, and civil rights to African Americans. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed rapid industrialization and urbanization in the United States. Immigrants flocked to America, seeking new opportunities. Factories and mass production transformed the economy, leading to labor unrest and income inequality. The 20th century saw America emerge as a global power. The United States played pivotal roles in both world wars. Post-World War II, the US and Soviet Union engaged in a Cold War. The mid-20th century saw significant social change. The Civil Rights Movement fought for equal rights for African Americans. Landmark victories included the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. As the century closed, the US faced new challenges and opportunities. The fall of the Soviet Union ended the Cold War, but new threats emerged. Globalization and technological advancements brought promise and uncertainty. Moving into the 21st century, America grapples with its complex history and global role.